Alright guys, this is Beau back again. We're going to get to the next video in the series. This is the pipeline series. If you haven't watched the first video, you need to watch these in order because I won't be answering questions that I've already answered in the first video, so it might confuse you. So if you haven't watched the series from the beginning, which the first video is what is pipeline with a question mark, watch that video and then we'll go on to this one. This video is about the money, and that's what everybody wants to know. And there's a lot of rumors going around, a lot of talk about how much money you can make out here on pipeline. I'm going to give you real life numbers based on my experience as from an entry level to where I'm at right now as an operator. I hired on as a labor hand. I've been a labor hand and a welder's helper, so I can tell you from both ways. I hired on as a labor hand last year. Buddy of mine offered me a job. I had to be ready to go in 2 days out of nowhere, and that's the way this works out here. You can't say, okay, well, I want to do it in a month. When a job opportunity pops up, you either take it or it goes to the next person. So of course, I loaded up my truck and borrowed an RV from a buddy and went out there to East Texas. And what I made is right on par with about what I've seen with other labor hand jobs. There's some that are a little more, some that are a little less, but you get an hourly rate and you get per diem. I'm going to explain what per diem is. Per diem is tax-free money that is supposed to supplement your cost of living. With that job, I got $100 a day per diem. That's tax-free money, 7 days a week, 365 days a year if you're working. So you got to figure in right there, okay, average month is 30 days. That's $3,000 tax-free money before you factor in any hourly rate. Because a lot of people hear the hourly rate and they're like, oh, that ain't that much. I can make that at home. Yeah, you can. But you got to factor that in because that's on your paycheck and it's tax-free money. So go ahead and start off with, that's about the average going rate per diem. Right now I'm at 150 a day per diem, but it's a different company, different scenario, all that stuff. And I've seen some companies that offer a little less, but don't take a pipeline job unless it offers per diem. I hadn't seen one that doesn't, but I've heard they exist, and they'll try and give you a little bit more per hour. Believe me, it doesn't. An extra $5 an hour doesn't supplement that tax-free money. Find a pipeline job with per diem. Most of them are only 6 day per diem instead of 7. I've had out of 4 employers in the last year, I've had only 2 of them that paid full 7 day per diem. Most of them is just Monday through Saturday, and then you don't get paid for the Sunday you don't work. Most jobs out here, 6 days on, 1 day off. 6 days on, 1 day off. But the pay rate is usually anywhere from 15, 16 an hour. That's about the range I've seen. Sometimes 17 and sometimes 14, but usually 15, 16 an hour. How many hours are you going to get a week? Usually a minimum of 60 is what I've seen and experienced. I've had upwards of 85, 90 an hour, 90-hour weeks during the summer when the sun stays out longer, and I've had as little as a 50-hour week when you get rained out or something like that. But the average I'd say is about 60 hours a week. You're going to do 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. That's the average. So you got to factor in your $16 an hour at 40 hours. Then you're at time and a half. So now your 16 is what does that come up to? $24 an hour? Yeah, so you're at $24 an hour for that remaining 20 hours, or 30 hours if you're lucky, or even 40 hours. The job I'm at now, we're putting in 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for 30 days straight, and then we get 4 days off. So I'm deep in overtime. That's where the money comes in. So factor in that. What are you going to make each week is what you're really wanting to know. On my average paycheck as a labor hand or a welder helper, I average after taxes, I've never even looked at it before taxes. After taxes with the per diem, usually anywhere from $1,500 to $1,700 a week. My lowest check was about $1,500 a week. My highest check was closer to $1,800 for a good long 85-hour week in the middle of the summer with the per diem and everything. And that's, like I said, it's after taxes. So would I recommend this to somebody? I mean, a lot of people say, oh, I can make that doing this and that. Well, that's fine. You go do that. I'm just letting people know that are wondering, how much money can I make coming out here with no experience, no tools, just a pair of steel-toe boots and yourself? How much can you expect to make? The cost of living is higher anywhere in the oil field, and my next video will go over that. So if you're at home and you're able to find an apartment to rent or something for $500-600 a month back home, it ain't happening out here. And I'm going to tell you exactly why in the next video. It's supply and demand. So you got to factor in, yeah, you'll be making a minimum of $6,000 a month, closer to $7,000 if you're lucky with the hours and everything and with the right company. But I'd say a minimum of $6,000 a month. I don't know about you, but that's pretty good money where I'm from, Mississippi. I don't know many people back home that make $6,000 a month with no experience on a low skill level job. I think that's pretty solid. But like I said, if you hadn't watched the first video, you're going to be lost on what I'm even talking about here. So try and go in order on these video series. I'll try and keep them short and to the point. So that's labor hand and welder's helper. It's about the same for both those jobs. And my next few videos will go over which each of those jobs you may want to choose, because I went both ways to see which way I would want to go. I decided I wanted to be an operator. I'm an operator now. The current job I'm at right now, which I actually start tomorrow, my first day, because you hop around out here a lot. It's a jump and go. It's like the Wild West, man. You jump and go around a lot out here. There's very few people that stay with a company more than a couple jobs. I know a lot of guys that do, but I know a lot of guys that as soon as a job's over with, they're back calling their contacts and they're looking for the next job, and they hook up their camper and go. And it's a whole new company, and you start over on the hiring process. But I'm an operator now. I run an excavator. We call them track hoes out here. You know, I'm making $28 an hour, $150 a day per diem, and another $50 a day for truck pay, which when you're an operator, you're responsible for fueling your own equipment. So you go to the yard in the morning where you have your safety meeting, you fill up out of their big 10,000 gallon diesel tank, and you have a tank in the back of your truck. So they pay you to use your own vehicle because it saves them money from having to do it. So you fill up your tank, you go out there and you fill up your piece of equipment. Also, your spotter rides with you, and then at the end of the day, you get back in your truck and leave your equipment where it is, and you're responsible for keeping it fueled up. So for me, I mean, this is more money than I've ever made in my life consistently. So I'm at $28 an hour. We're doing 84-hour weeks right now, so I'm 44 hours in overtime. 28, what's time and a half on 28? 28 is 14, 38, $42 an hour. So for 44 hours a week, I'm making $42 an hour, and for 40 hours a week, I'm making 28, and then plus I'm making an additional $200 a day tax-free money. That's some solid ass money for me. I'm telling you that right now. I'm very fortunate to be able to do what I do. So you do the math there, and then welders make more than me. Welders make about $5,000 a week, but they have a lot more responsibility. You have to have your own truck, your own equipment. Me, I just show up to the job and I hop in their equipment and work all day. And so that's the route I chose, just for that reason, because I didn't want to have to dedicate my personal truck and turn it into a full-time work truck, because when it's down like it is right now, I wouldn't be able to work. And then of course foremen make more money than I do, and they're on salary base. So if I have a rainy day here, let's say it rains for 4 days straight, I'm not making anything. I think I'll still make my per diem, and then some companies do like a minimum of 2 hours per day even on a rain out day, but the money doesn't really start adding up to make it worth being out here until you hit that overtime, and we're usually in overtime by Thursday. That's when the money starts making sense. So, and then like I said, the foremans and of course inspectors make more money, superintendents make even more money. So don't think that that $1,500 a week is some kind of baller paycheck out here. It might be back home where you're from, but out here, that's the common man. I mean, you're just like the average guy. So don't come out here all cocky when you get that first $6,000 in the first month and you just moved out of your mom's house and you just think you're big shit out here. You might be big shit back home, but out here, there's people, like, even with the money I make, I'm still low on the totem pole. But I have goals to move up further. So that's what the money is out here. And that's all I really want to make this video about. I don't want to drag too much into other subjects. But like I said, watch the first video if you haven't. Then this one explains the pay. The next video I'm going to do will be about if you're new to pipeline, what do you need and what is a waste of money, and how would I recommend, based off of my experience, to handle that money once you start making that level of money. What's the best way to go about securing your future and making it to where one day you won't have to do this anymore. You can do it as a choice, but you won't have to. Because a lot of people, such as myself, I put myself in such a bind of living the lifestyle, I have to keep working. I can't go home because my bills are a small percentage of my payout here, but any job back home, it would be my whole check or even more just to cover the bills that I've acquired since I've been out here. So in your mind, you're thinking, yeah, I make $10,000 a month out here. Well, what's $4 grand in bills? I mean, that's only 40%, right? Well, if you decide to quit one day and you got a job at best that's paying $1,000 a week back home, well, that's all my money. That's every bit of my money. And most of the bills I have, they're commitments. You can't just say, oh, never mind, I don't want to pay that anymore. You can, but that's not the adult way to handle it. But we'll get into that with the next video. Anyway, appreciate y'all watching, and stay tuned for more videos as I make them, because they're going to pop up. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it to keep up with as I add videos. And we go live a lot. We do a lot of live question and answer stuff. We talk about family, work, personal life. We talk about it all. So anyway, appreciate y'all following, checking out the video. See y'all next. One more thing, guys. Be sure to check in the description of the video. I tag Oilfield Job Shop. It's a guy that reached out to me. He has a good website going, good social media presence. For those of you looking to get into the pipeline business, be sure to go check out the Facebook page and check out the link of their website. And that's one of my supporters, and I've checked out his page. Seems like they got a good thing going. So y'all go check it out. Be sure to like and subscribe. Like I said, thank you.